Discover the heartwarming moment 100 bikers united to protect a disabled girl from cruel bullies. In the cozy little town of Maplewood, where the sun always seemed to shine a bit brighter, a 12-year-old girl named Lily was struggling against the storm. With her lively imagination and a heart that overflowed with dreams, she saw the world painted in colors that others often missed. But Lily had a secret. Beyond her brilliant sketches and vibrant paintings lay an invisible battle marked by the cruelty of bullies who picked on her for her disability. She walked home most days with the weight of loneliness pressing on her chest, and her bright spirit dimmed by their constant taunts. But one day, everything changed. Whispers began to ripple through the town like the wind shifting the leaves of the old maple trees. People were shocked to hear about what Lily faced, and the murmurs of disbelief turned into a wave of indignation. The shopkeepers, teachers, and familiar faces who filled the town square began to rally, their hearts swelling with the determination to protect their own. In a whirlwind of leather and steel, the Maplewood Motorcycle Coalition revved into action. It wasn't a mere coincidence that they showed up just when the air grew thick with tension. These tough bikers, with their tattoos and thunderous engines, roared into the heart of Maplewood, a beacon of unity to shield a girl in need. Lily watched in awe as a parade of 100 powerful machines rolled into the town square, their presence electrifying the air around her. Beneath the rustle of leather and the cacophony of revving engines, she could feel a flicker of hope igniting deep within. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As the bikers lined up, their faces transformed with fierce determination, the townsfolk exchanged looks of uncertainty. Fear bubbled up, intermingled with hope. Would courage triumph over the cruelty that had silently stained their close-knit community? Underneath the noise, you could hear the hushed conversations and gasps of disbelief. Everyone was on edge, poised to witness a battle for something far more significant than just one girl's dignity. Standing at the center of this turbulent vortex, Lily felt a rush of warmth spread through her as she clutched her sketchbook against her chest. Would the bikers really stand for her? Would they fight the bullies who had made her life so hard? As the roar of the engines nearly drowned out her thoughts, she realized that this wasn't just about her anymore. This was about the very essence of Maplewood courage, community, and the choice to stand up for what was right. The tension hung heavily in the air as the first sound of a challenge echoed through the square. Would the bikers rise to the occasion, risking their own reputations for the sake of one brave girl? As hearts thudded like the rhythm of impending thunder, anticipation crackled in the air. Would they finally be able to redefine the values of their town, one moment of bravery at a time? The outcome loomed, leaving everyone breathless, hearts racing, and the hope of justice flickering just like a candle desperate for the wind to breathe life into its flame once more. The roar of engines sang like a battle cry, echoing off the walls of the buildings encircling the town square. Rita, the town's beloved baker, rushed outside, an apron still tied around her waist. She squinted through the rising dust. "What is going on?" she whispered to no one in particular. The spectacle felt larger than life, and her heart swelled with a mix of fear and hope. Lily's breath caught in her throat as she watched the bikers dismount, their intimidating figures softened by the concern etched on their faces. They were a unique kaleidoscope of emotions, strong, yet vulnerable. Each biker carried with them the weight of a promise, unspoken yet palpable. Behind them, the townsfolk began to gather, curiosity and solidarity gleaming in their eyes. Then, it happened. A figure stepped forward from the group of bikers, an older man with gray hair tied back and a beard that spoke of stories untold. He raised one gloved hand, silencing the crowd with a simple gesture. The moment felt electric. "We're here for Lily," he bellowed, his voice firm yet gentle. "No child should have to endure this kind of treatment. We stand with her." A murmur of agreement surged through the crowd, a wave of unity that was both rousing and calming. Lily, who had been overwhelmed by the spectacle to the point of holding her breath, felt the strength of the community settle around her like a warm embrace. "Do you hear that, Lily?" one of the bikers called, a tall woman with a vibrant, colorful tattoo that snaked up her arm. It seemed to shimmer under the light, reflecting the essence of freedom. "You're not alone anymore. We've got your back." A ripple of disbelief danced among the onlookers. The negativity that had once surrounded Lily began to melt away, replaced by a newfound courage. Murmurs of "We believe you," and "You're brave," floated through the crowd. Tears threatened to spill from her eyes as she realized these tough bikers weren't just here to fight. They were here to give her a voice. But just as hope soared, uncertainty lingered. Would the bikers' presence truly make a difference? What if the bullies showed up? The crowd could sense the tension, an unspoken question hanging heavy in the air. Then, a curious sound broke the moment. The unmistakable clattering of bikes reverberated once more, this time in the distance. Gasps rippled through the crowd as a group of locals hung back, their postures dripping with contempt. They were the very bullies who had tormented Lily, and their sneers were like daggers. "Looks like we've got company," a biker muttered, jaw tightening. But instead of simmering hostility, he turned to Lily. "Stay close to us. You're safe here, kiddo." With the tension thickening, Lily could feel her heart racing, fear battling against hope. Would these fearless defenders hold strong in the face of the very ones who had tried to break her? The lead bully stepped forward, flanked by his friends who had made a habit of belittling her. "What's this, a little biker gang playing hero?" He laughed, but the sound lacked conviction. Lily felt the protective energy radiate from her unexpected champions. They looked ready to defend her, and for the first time, she felt the stirrings of even greater courage within her. As the voices clashed and emotions escalated, the crowd grew restless, a mix of anxiety and curiosity swirling together. Would they rise to protect her? Would she find her voice? Before the situation could spiral into chaos, Lily took a deep breath. She had something to say. She could feel it bubbling up inside her. What if she spoke up? What if her words carried the weight of all they had fought for? With the bikers surrounding her, the town breathing in unity, she stood taller, determined to finally be heard. Lily's heart thumped against her chest as she felt the weight of the moment. The noise faded, and all she could hear was the rush of adrenaline in her ears. She glanced toward the bikers, their faces set in fierce determination, a stark contrast to the cowardice displayed by the bullies. Suddenly, the power of their presence became palpable. She wasn't just a target anymore, she was part of something bigger. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward, letting the chaotic energy wash over her like a wave. "Stop!" The single word rang out and echoed in the silence that followed. The bullies paused, eyes wide with surprise as they exchanged glances. Lily clutched the front of her shirt, feeling raw and exposed. "You think this is funny? You think it's okay to hurt people?" The lead bully sneered, but there was a flicker of uncertainty in his posture. "Ah, look, the little girl thinks she can talk back now," he drawled, trying to regain control of the moment. But Lily didn't falter. "You can't just pick on me because I'm different." Her voice trembled and threatened to crack, but she pressed on, fueled by the solid presence of her newfound allies. "Just because I'm not like you doesn't give you the right to treat me like dirt." Gasps erupted from the crowd. Shock transformed into a swell of support. A wave of whispered encouragement rolled through them, and Lily felt it bolster her courage. She was surrounded by community, by bikers who had chosen to stand in the line of fire for her. "Yeah, listen to her," one of the bikers yelled, their voice rising above the noise. "You've had your fun long enough. You're full of hot air, and it's time to let her breathe." Lily turned her focus back to her tormentors. Fingers began to shake, but she embraced the vulnerability. "I've been scared for so long. You think you're tough? I'm tougher than you know." The lead bully scoffed, but the fire in Lily's eyes had shifted the atmosphere. The crowd shifted, a ripple of anticipation, weighing the tension like a pendulum. A shy voice piped up from the crowd. "You're so brave, Lily." That was all it took. The sound, the recognition, sparked something in other townsfolk. Voices joined together, a chorus of encouragement filling the square. "Keep going, Lily." Lily took a step closer, feeling the warmth of her allies surrounding her like a shield. "You think you can keep bullying me or anyone who is different? Look around you. Everyone here believes in me." They believe that kindness is stronger than your hate. The lead bully's bravado began to waver. The sneering facade crumbled as the faces of the spectators rang out in solidarity. The bullies shuffled back, confusion flickering in their eyes as they began to realize they were outmatched. "Let us get out of here," one of them muttered, casting a reluctant glance at Lily. For the first time, she saw fear twist their faces, a feeling she had grown all too familiar with. As they retreated, a wave of relief surged through Lily, but it was mingled with disbelief. Had she really stood up to them? The crowd erupted into cheers, voices mingling in joy, and laughter danced on the breeze, carrying with it the promise of freedom. The bikers were clapping her on the back, their grins wide and proud. "You did it, kiddo," one of them exclaimed. "You found your voice." But as much as she felt the thrill of victory, a new sensation settled and uncertainty lingered. What would this new reality bring? Would the bullying truly end? The crowd began to disperse, but Lily stood rooted, looking out at the faces that had rallied for her. What if this was just the beginning? She wondered, her heart racing once more. She had spoken out, yes, but what lay ahead? Would she muster the strength to keep standing her ground? And as the last of the crowd filtered out, one thing was clear. Lily was ready to rewrite her story, if only she could find the courage to face the next challenge that awaited her. Lily stood in the middle of the square, still feeling the echoes of the cheers vibrating in her chest. The world around her was blurring, everything felt surreal. The bikers had crowded around her, their wild energy transforming the air into a tangible force. Their laughter and the sounds of revving engines combined into a chorus of newfound hope. It was overwhelming, yet exhilarating. She looked at the faces surrounding her, tough, weathered men and women with inked arms and sun-kissed skin, all gleaming with pride. They weren't just bikers, they were protectors, a surprising band of support that she never considered she would have. A knot of emotion tightened in her throat. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice soft but firm. One of the bikers, a woman with a fierce braid and a smile as wide as the sky, knelt down to Lily's level. "You stood up today, Lily. You showed everyone you've got guts." Her voice was warm, filled with sincerity. "We see you. Don't forget that." Lily nodded, but doubt crept into her mind. What if they left? What if the bullies came back? Or worse, what if no one cared to help her again when it mattered most? She swallowed hard, pushing the thoughts aside. This day had ignited something in her. She could feel the flicker of strength within her, growing brighter with every passing moment. "Let us grab some ice cream," one of the bikers suggested, breaking through the serious moment. Laughter erupted again, and suddenly, the dark cloud of fear that had hovered over Lily began to part. Ice cream sounded perfect. They made their way to a nearby stand, the group filling the sidewalk like a parade. Lily could hardly keep up, her heart racing not from fear but from excitement. She felt a wide grin break across her face when she spotted the assortment of colorful flavors. The bikers teased each other playfully, and for the first time in a long while, Lily felt like she belonged. Standing in line, she turned to the woman beside her, who was still wearing that infectious smile. "What is your name?" "I'm Jessie," the woman replied with a wink. "And we're known as the Midnight Riders. We've got your back from now on." The weight of those words settled deep within Lily. She wasn't alone anymore. The thought ignited a warmth in her chest, pushing aside all traces of doubt. Just then, a small commotion erupted outside the ice cream stand, a couple of kids stepping forward from behind a nearby tree, with some familiar faces among them. Lily's heart sank momentarily. Were they back? But the gang of bikers didn't seem fazed. Instead, they stood their ground, muscles tensed, ready to protect. "Hey, you!" one of her old tormentors shouted, but Jessie's voice blared like a horn, cutting through the tension. "You got something to say? Why don't you say it to us?" Lily's heart raced. The fear she had felt before was gone, replaced by fierce determination. She stepped forward, wanting to feel empowered once again. "You don't scare me anymore," she declared, her voice steady and loud. The air was thick with tension, every eye locked on the confrontation. She could see confusion flicker in their faces. Did they really expect her to cower? "Maybe you should think twice about who you pick on," Jessie added, her tone unwavering. "It's a new day, and this girl has an army now." The shocking power of those words sunk in for both Lily and her old bullies. What would happen now? Would this truly mark the end of their harassment? As she faced them, the books of her past felt like they were being rewritten in that moment. But could she dare to hope that everything had changed for good? The silence hung there like a heavy fog, filled with anticipation. What would happen next? Lily stood her ground, heart pounding fiercely in her chest, her newfound confidence wrapping around her like a shield. The Midnight Riders formed a protective wall behind her, their presence strong and unwavering. It felt surreal, as if she had stepped into a story where she wouldn't be a victim any longer. The bullies, caught off guard, exchanged glances, uncertainty creeping into their bravado. Lily could hear the crowd whispering, their murmurs low yet charged with electricity. It was like their collective heartbeat thrummed in tune with her own. She took a deep breath, the sweetness of adrenaline mixing with the cool summer air. "Hey, what's the matter? Did we hit a nerve?" One of the bullies sneered, trying to regain control of the moment. But this time, it only made Lily more resolute. There was a flicker of shame on their faces. Maybe they hadn't expected to be challenged. "I'm done being scared," Lily cut back, her voice clearer and stronger than she ever imagined it could sound. "You don't get to treat me that way anymore." Each word took flight, echoing in the open square, morphing into something powerful. Jessie stepped forward, her fierce braids swinging defiantly. "You see, it's not just about Lily anymore. It's about standing up, together. There's no more room for bullies here. We're all family now." The bikers around her cheered, and for a moment, even Lily felt a hint of disbelief at the transformation taking place. This wasn't just about her. It was a movement, an affirmation that the darkness of bullying would not be tolerated. The bullies hesitated, their confidence waning. "It's just a bunch of losers on bikes," one shouted, but his voice quaked with uncertainty. The crowd shifted, some stepping closer to watch, others shaking their heads as if they found the drama entertaining. "I'd rather be a loser on a bike than someone who picks on people to feel better," Lily shot back, the words flowing with surprising ease. She felt stronger, buoyed by the support surrounding her. That's when the first doubt slipped through the group of bullies. They sensed a change in the air, an energy that made them feel small. The laughter and shouts of encouragement from the Midnight Riders echoed against the building walls, drowning out their arrogance. Lily glanced back at Jessie. The biker grinned at her, a supportive nod that radiated pride. The moment was electric, and Lily's heart raced as she realized just how far she had come. She was standing tall, not just in the presence of her newfound friends, but against the ghosts of her past. "Walk away," Jessie growled, her voice a low rumble. "You don't want to make this a fight." For a long second, the tension held, a standstill of uncertainty and anticipation. The bullies exchanged wary looks like they were weighing their options. Finally, one stepped back, then another, and like the fall of dominoes, they faded into the background, leaving Lily surrounded by the cheers of the Midnight Riders. Tears stung her eyes, but they were tears of relief, of triumph. The heaviness she had carried for so long began to lift, replaced by the sweet aroma of newfound friendship and strength. "See," Jessie said, clapping her on the back. "You did it. We've got your back, always." It felt like a weight had been lifted from Lily's shoulders. But just when relief rushed in, clarity struck. What if the bullies wouldn't stay gone? What if they decided to come back for revenge when she least expected it? "Now what's next?" Lily asked, her voice shaky yet hopeful. The hurdle had been crossed, but the path ahead seemed filled with uncertainty. Would she have the strength to face whatever might come next? As the bikers gathered around her again, laughter unfolded, mingling with voices filled with promises of camaraderie. Yet, a shadow of concern lingered in the back of her mind, teasing her with doubt. What if this was just the beginning of a much more significant battle? Lily's heart raced, still alive with the echoes of victory. The weight of the moment enveloped her, and she stood, surrounded by the Midnight Riders, whose energy buzzed like bees in summer. But beneath her exhilaration lay a simmering anxiety that refused to subside. "Let us celebrate," Jessie shouted, her voice slicing through the air, lifting spirits higher. The crowd erupted in cheers, transforming their earlier tension into pure joy. Laughter spilled around them like confetti, vibrant and alive. It was contagious. Yet, as the bikers rallied, Lily couldn't shake the gnawing fear at the back of her mind. The bullies might flee, but what if they conspired from the shadows? What if today's win was a temporary flicker in a long fight? She caught Jessie's eye, realizing that while the cheering was uplifting, it was the silence that gave her pause. Hey, Jessie. Lily hesitated, words dancing on the tip of her tongue. What if they come back? Those guys, they don't strike me as the type to back down easily. Jessie's smile faltered, a flicker of understanding flashing across her face. You're right. We need a plan. The energy shifted. The group around them began to listen intently, their celebration momentarily pausing. First things first, Jessie continued, a determined gleam in her eye. We have to keep an eye out. We need to watch each other's backs, always be ready. We've all got stories of our own. But coming together shows strength. That made something inside Lily click. She wasn't alone anymore. Maybe we should have a meeting next week, one of the other bikers suggested, a tall guy with a bright smile named Marco. We can talk about how to protect each other. We can share our experiences. It's not just about today. It's about building a community. The idea caught fire. As they discussed plans, Lily felt the warmth of belonging wrap around her. But even as excitement built, her stomach fluttered with the what-ifs that had haunted her thoughts since the confrontation. Can we reach out to the others in school? Like, the ones who feel alone? She asked. What if we could create a safe space for everyone? The words tumbled out, raw and sincere. There was a moment of silence as the bikers exchanged hesitant glances, but then Jessie nodded vigorously. Absolutely. Can't leave anyone behind. We need to be the ones who stand up for all the kids. The enthusiasm ignited a renewed sense of purpose. They began brainstorming, filling the air with ideas and strategies, support groups, awareness rallies, and writing campaigns to share their stories. But among the passion and energy, there was still something gnawing at Lily. What if the bullies got wind of their plans? What if they targeted her when she least expected it? The fear of being hunted made her heart race again. But she didn't let it show. As the night fell, lanterns illuminated the gathering place, casting a warm glow on their faces. Laughter continued, but Lily clung to the anxious thread of doubt that tangled her mind. Hey, can I bring my sister to the next meeting? She could use some support, too. A girl with electric blue hair chimed in. Of course. Everyone is welcome, Jessie assured. Her voice carrying warmth like a hug. The sense of family formed in that moment, an unspoken agreement woven into the air. But just as love and camaraderie flourished, so did the seeds of concern. The cycle had begun, but would they all be ready for what lay ahead? As they wrapped up for the evening, Lily sensed a shift in the air. It wasn't just the victory to celebrate, but the anticipation of a battle not yet fought. Would the light of their united front shine bright enough to conquer the darkness that lurked just beyond? All around her, laughter echoed, yet the shadows still lingered. And with those shadows, the question what would come next when the next challenge knocked on her door. As the celebration wound down, the flickering lanterns cast playful shadows on the ground, dancing across the excited faces of the midnight riders. But for Lily, the joy felt distant, like a reflection on water that ripples with a single drop. Everyone was talking, sharing ideas, and laughing. It was beautiful and uplifting, yet Lily's mind was on a different track. She looked around at her friends, boys and girls who had come together to support each other. Was this enough? Did they really stand a chance? Hey, can I grab your attention for a second? Lily raised her voice, cutting through the chatter. The excitement dimmed as the group turned to her, their faces expectant. I know we're starting something great here, but it's not just us anymore. What happens when the bullies find out? Jessie stepped closer and put a reassuring hand on her shoulder. We can't live our lives in fear, Lily. But yes, we must be prepared for anything. Let us make sure we have a safe space. We'll stand together. That's what makes us strong. A surge of hope ran through her. But the worry remained. What if they come at us when we least expect it? What if they decide to go after family members or spread rumors? I get it. I feel it too, Jessie said softly. This will take time, but we have to believe in each other. That struck a chord. Belief was the cornerstone of hope. Lily felt her chest swell as smiles broke out around her, lighting their eyes. She could see it, the determination, the will to fight back. This wasn't just about standing up for themselves. It was about creating change. Just then, Marco chimed in. What if we set up a buddy system? Each of us can pair with someone else, especially those who might be more vulnerable. That way, no one feels alone. The idea ignited murmurs of agreement. It was a small step forward, but it felt monumental in scope. What started as a small gathering of bikes was evolving into a beacon of hope amidst a storm of fear. Lily could feel the tension in the air begin to lighten as they discussed logistics. They mapped out who would do what, who could take charge of the posters, and how they would spread the word at school. It was invigorating. Yet, as laughter erupted again with every shared laugh and inside joke, an uncomfortable thought lingered at the back of her mind. Would this be enough? As the night waned, she found herself alone for a moment, the laughter a background hum now. She could still hear their joyous voices, but something felt off in the pit of her stomach. What if the bullies retaliated? Lily. It was a voice she recognized. A small girl, no older than 10, shuffled toward her. Her hair was pulled back in messy braids, and her oversized shirt hung over her skinny frame. Are you really going to help kids like me? Lily knelt down, looking the girl in the eye. Of course. That's the goal. The girl's face lit up, her eyes wide with hope. Can I come to the meeting too? I get bullied sometimes. Absolutely. As the little girl embraced her, a wave of realization washed over Lily. This wasn't just about the bikers or her fear of being hunted. It was about the lives they could change. But deep down, the anxiety pulsed like a drumbeat. What if standing up for each other attracted more trouble than they were ready for? Just as doubt crept in, Jessie approached, catching Lily's worried gaze. Let us get some sleep. We have a lot of planning to do tomorrow. Lily nodded slowly but felt an electric tension in the air. They might have gained their strength tonight, but the real test awaited. As they parted ways, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to happen. Something that would challenge everything they had worked for. With shadows creeping back, one question clawed at her thoughts: could they really protect one another when the real fight came? The sun rose slowly, spilling golden light across the quiet neighborhood. Lily stirred in her bed, the warmth of the sunlight brushing against her skin. Yet, the familiar comfort of her blanket didn't erase the anxious thoughts buzzing in her mind. Today would be different. Today, they would take the first real steps. As she dressed, she wondered if her friends felt the same mix of excitement and dread. Each of them had a role to play, yet no one could predict what the day might bring. She grabbed her bike, feeling the familiar weight of determination settle in her chest. At school, the air crackled with an unusual buzz. Students moved through the halls, laughter mingling with hushed whispers. Lily spotted Jessie at their designated meeting spot by the old oak tree. The tree, thick and gnarled, had always been a shelter, a refuge. Just like their group, it stood strong, a symbol of resilience. Ready? Jessie asked, her expression a mix of hope and apprehension. Lily took a deep breath. As ready as I'll ever be. One by one, the group gathered. Marco arrived, his sister in tow, looking shy but eager. Each face reflected a flicker of resolve, yet beneath that excitement lay an undercurrent of uncertainty. They shared ideas, planned their strategies, but the flickering question lingered. What if the bullies struck back harder? As they finished up their plans, Jessie stood to address the group. We need to remind ourselves why we're here. It's not just about standing up for ourselves, but also showing others that they don't have to face this alone. Lily felt a swell of pride. She believed in what they were doing, every word connecting to her heart. They were laying the groundwork for something bigger, something transformative. But just as they were about to disperse, a familiar sound made Lily's heart sink. A group of students loomed at the edge of the playground. The bullies, led by the loudest voice in school, Tyler, were approaching. Their laughter echoed like a warning bell. Look who's bringing their little army, Tyler sneered, his eyes glinting with malice. You really think this is going to change anything? Lily froze, fear and adrenaline gripping her. She felt Jessie's hand grip her tightly, a silent promise exchanged between them. They wouldn't back down. Why don't you try us? Marco stepped forward, his voice steady. We are not scared of you anymore. The shift in the air was palpable. Lily's heartbeat quickened. She watched as the group of bullies exchanged glances, surprise etched on their faces. Could this actually work? Yeah? What are you going to do about it? You think some bikes and posters will scare us off? Tyler jeered, taking a step closer. Before the tension broke, an unexpected voice piped up from the crowd. It was the little girl from the celebration, her small frame trembling with courage. They're not alone. And you're not allowed to be mean anymore. The giggles and murmurs within the crowd turned into shocked silence. Tyler stared at the girl with disbelief, his smirk faltering. Lily felt a rush of warmth. This little girl, who had looked up to her, had just scared a bully. But laughter faded, replaced with a heavy tension as Tyler folded his arms. "You'll regret this," he hissed, turning on his heel, but the canvas of fear had shifted. As they left, the air felt different, charged with a newfound energy. The group gravitated closer, sharing cautious smiles. Despite the turmoil swirling within her, Lily knew that something profound had shifted. They had stood together, and for the first time, it felt like they might just have the courage to protect each other. But the questions lingered in her mind, weaving in and out like ghosts. What would Tyler do next? Would their united front be enough? It was just the beginning, but today had stirred a bravery in everyone. Little did Lily know, the real challenge was lurking just around the corner, waiting to test their resolve once and for all. Lily felt a rush of adrenaline as the group started to disperse. Excitement bubbled in her chest. The atmosphere was charged with a mix of triumph and apprehension. They may have pushed back against the bullies, but the real fight felt far from over. The others were already discussing their next moves: posters, social media posts, perhaps even a rally. But as Lily stood there, the reality hit her. Words were only the beginning. "What if they come back tomorrow?" Marco asked, his voice laced with concern. Lily glanced around, meeting the determined eyes of her friends. "Then we'll be ready for them. We'll have each other's backs, right?" "Right," Jessie chimed in, her cheeks still flushed from the earlier confrontation. A smile danced on her lips, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. Their agreement felt solid, yet the underlying fear lingered like a shadow. They could plan all they wanted, but Tyler and his crew were known for being relentless. The group decided to stay close, to brainstorm over ice cream at the local shop, a place that had always been a haven for them. As they pedaled down the wide, sunlit street, Lily felt a flicker of hope. Maybe they truly could spark a change. But she couldn't shake off the weight of uncertainty. What if the bullies retaliated? What if they got hurt or worse? At the shop, the chatter was lively. They gathered around a table, bouncing ideas off one another, laughter sprinkled between serious plans. Each suggestion carried a thread of courage, the heart of their intentions visible in their bright faces. Lily's thoughts drifted back to the little girl with wild curls who had given them that tiny moment of victory. Her words echoed in Lily's mind, igniting a flame in her heart. Maybe this wasn't just about standing against bullies, but about creating a community, a place where every kid felt safe. They spent the afternoon doodling concepts for posters, words of encouragement flowing from their pens. Together stood out, bold and defiant, while "no more bullies" spilled across the page like a mantra. They shared dreams of something bigger, a gathering that might unite the students, one where everyone could feel empowered. As the sun began dipping towards the horizon, casting long shadows along the sidewalk, Lily felt an electric buzz. "Let us do it," she declared, her voice rising above the scattered conversations. "Let us make a plan for a rally next week. We'll invite everyone." The table erupted with cheers, and for a moment, it felt like the world could transform. But just then, the door swung open with a sudden rush. There stood Tyler and his friends, the darkness in their eyes cutting through the cheer like a knife. The laughter died, silence enveloping them like a heavy cloak. "Still plotting?" Tyler sneered, stepping inside, a triumphant smirk stretching across his face. Lily's heart plummeted. The confrontation had returned, but this time, it was darker. Jessie squeezed Lily's hand tightly, the tension thickening in the air. Tyler's crew circled the table, their eyes glinting menacingly. "What are you going to do? Organize a parade?" Tyler laughed, the sound echoing off the walls. Lily's mind raced. Was this the moment where they would fold? Or was this the real test of their courage? With a deep breath, she stood taller, heart pounding against her ribcage. "No, Tyler. We're going to stand together, and we won't let you scare us." A murmur of agreement rippled through her friends, but Lily could see the doubt flickering in their eyes. Could they really stand strong against him? Would they hold on to that fleeting moment of bravery? But as Tyler's laughter carried through the shop, a stronger thought emerged in Lily's mind. They were not just fighting for themselves. They were fighting for every kid who felt powerless. And they would have each other's backs, no matter how dark it got. As tension simmered just beneath the surface, Lily felt the path to something bigger unfurling before them. The rally might not be just a simple event, it could be the spark of a larger movement. But that would require more than just courage. It would need all of them, united through fear and determination. Are you with me? She asked, casting a glance around the table. They exchanged glances, hesitation still crawling in. But with the vision of the little girl and their shared strength pushing them forward, Lily's heart filled with hope. And then, the moment hung in the air, thick with potential. What would happen next? Would they find the strength to face whatever came their way? As the tension in the ice cream shop thickened, a heartbeat of uncertainty pulsed through Lily. Tyler's mocking laughter echoed in her ears. It felt like the very shadows in her life had returned, darker and more menacing. But the resolve within her flared up like a fire igniting in the night. "Listen up," she said, her voice steady despite the fear fluttering in her chest. Tyler's sneer faltered, just for a moment, as he focused on her. "This isn't just about you anymore. We're done being scared. We're standing together. We're done with you." Lily shifted her gaze from Tyler to her friends, each face reflecting the flicker of determination she felt. Jessie squeezed her hand tighter, a silent bond that anchored Lily's courage. This wasn't just about one girl against the bullies. This was about a community rising up. "Why all think you can scare us?" That ended today, Marco added, stepping forward with a newfound confidence. The shifting dynamic pulsed around them, and for the first time, the bullies looked less certain. Even Tyler seemed momentarily thrown off balance. "What are you going to do? Write us bad reviews on Yelp?" Tyler shot back, but the bravado in his voice was starting to crack. The onlookers, including other kids trapped in their booths, began to whisper, a symphony of support quietly crescendoing. "Actually, we're hosting a rally," Lily announced, feeling the words spur the shift in the air, invigorating the crowd as she locked eyes with those who had gathered. "We're inviting everyone to stand together. Because no one should feel alone. Not anymore." A murmur of approval rippled through the gathering, a wave of support washing over her like the warm sun breaking through clouds. The doubt that had dwelled in her friends' eyes began to fade. Tyler cast a glance back at his group, only to find them stepping back slightly, some exchanging hesitant looks, as if they were suddenly aware of the weight they carried. "You really think that will change anything?" Tyler scoffed, though uncertainty dripped from his tone. "Change isn't easy, it never was. But this community is ready for it," Jessie retorted, her voice rising, filled with a resolve that cut through the tension. "We're coming together, whether you like it or not." Lily watched as more kids from behind began to edge closer, their curiosity piqued by the boldness of the assembly. The crowd was shifting, enveloping a weighty silence charged with anticipation. The fear that once gripped her heart finally fluttered away. "Let us go," one of the others called out, emboldened. "Who's with us?" "I am," said another, and quickly, others chimed in, layering the air with the harmony of a movement taking shape. Every voice rounded out the sound of unity. It grew like a chorus, lifting the hesitation and putting strength in its place. "You're just a bunch of freaks," Tyler blurted out, his confidence waning. "Freaks who stick together," shouted Marco, the energy building, an electric spark illuminating the space. In a moment that felt almost cinematic, Lily stepped forward, feeling the momentum transform from fear to power. "Today, we take back our power. Today, we show there's more strength in compassion than in cruelty. We won't stand by and let you tear us down any longer." The onlookers erupted into cheers while the bullies' posturing dissolved in the flood of support. Tyler's bravado crumbled, and he turned to leave, a hasty retreat that spoke louder than words. They had proven their point as the excitement overwhelmed her senses. Lily felt Jessie's hand slip into hers, a tether that felt more like family than friendship now. They stood tall, shoulder to shoulder, with the chorus of their supporters echoing through the ice cream shop's walls. Later, as the sun dipped further into the horizon, Lily found herself leaning against Jessie on the steps of the shop, packing up to leave. "We did it," she said with wide eyes glimmering, drenched in disbelief and joy. "Yeah, we did. But it's only the beginning," Jessie pointed out, her thoughtful tone mixing admiration with resolve. "We have to keep it going. Those bullies might come back, but it'll be okay because we'll be ready. Together." Lily felt the warmth of hope fill her heart as she envisioned the rally they were planning, a tapestry of voices woven together for strength. She realized that they had defeated fear, if only for a moment, and that's when true change begins. With a heart full of dreams, she looked out at the shimmering sunset, determined more than ever to create a community where every kid felt safe, valued, and heard. The next chapter awaited, and they would face it together, embracing the bond that had formed under the banner of bravery, solidarity, and hope. And as she turned to leave, Lily knew this wouldn't be the last time they stood up for one another. The echoes of laughter and support would resonate, igniting every corner of Maplewood with the light they had kindled, forever changing their small town into a haven of acceptance. Don't wait, not even one more second. You need to subscribe now to our channel, so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that inspire and uplift. Please leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. And comment below with your reactions and feelings about this empowering ending. It's time to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting our community through these actions. Let's keep this movement alive.